The third one gets into the heart. And the third one we basically call the engine. So before we look at the engine, purpose is part of the engine. What actually is purpose? I hear people now saying, we're in the not-profit sector, we're a for-purpose organisation. Oh. Does that mean anyone else is not? There's sort of, there's a number which tried to claim the title, only not-for-profits can be for purpose. Do you think Google has a purpose? Putting money to one side? Yeah. What is it? Liberate the world, free the world? Or is it now, encase the world? Same as Apple, they all have their purposes. But they're organisations that have a clear sense of what their identity is and where they sit in the marketplace and where they want to go to. So what does a purpose statement do? What does a purpose statement do? Helps you define strategic objectives, gives you outcome, tells you why you exist. Tells you why you exist. Tells you why you exist. So let's take a firm like Pitch Partners. Putting the profit motive to one side, why do you think a firm like Pitch Partners would exist? An accounting firm. Why would an accounting firm exist? Turn around and say, well, an accounting firm exists to take all the burden and the paperwork away from me. Yeah, make them grow. Help them know their numbers. Help them be better, performing, grow. But there can be a very clear reason there. And if you go down to the bookkeeping compliance side, it's to remove the burden. It's to make the paperwork simple. If you go up towards the other end, it could be helping to grow more efficiently and effectively. But you turn around and say, that's my purpose. Everything I do focuses on that. So think of your business. If you had to describe the purpose for its existence, what would it be? If you're on a farm, what would be the purpose? Many people ask that now. But if you're on a farm, what would be the purpose? Pay tax. Support the rest of the world. Could be about growing food. Could be about feeding people. What about if I manufacture cars? Could be about transporting. So you look to see the need which you fulfill, and that gives you a clue to your purpose. And if I have a clue to my purpose, I now can anchor that. Why? Well, I understand what our business is about. I understand why I come here. I can now actually think about it. There's a silly, I call it a silly example. It's not necessarily a silly example, which I've used many times just as a theoretical model. A pen. Company starts off, it manufactures a pen. And they turn around and say, we've created this thing, it's called a pen. People use it for writing, but it's a pen. Cheap, effective, it actually leaks everywhere, but we're trying to solve that problem. This is actually the history of the company which created the pen. It did leak everywhere. And so it went through that process of manufacturing and selling pens. Someone comes along, picks this up, goes, what is this thing that's leaking all over my hand? It's a pen. Huh. This is a great way to communicate. I can now write down all my thoughts. I can communicate my thoughts and I can share them with people. I can express my creativity. This thing isn't particularly good. I'm actually going to get someone to design a better one. And I think it should be in different colours, different shapes, different sizes. We're now in the business of helping people communicate effectively. I'm in the business of manufacturing pens. Which one has a greater purpose? Which business died because they were chasing someone who saw this for what it was, fulfilling a need of communication, and just took that and took it forward. And they're sitting here saying, I don't understand why people now want 4 colours. I don't understand why they want different shapes and sizes. I don't understand what these other things coming out are, because they saw themselves down here in a functional way. I manufacture a pen. I'm sitting over here and saying, I help people communicate effectively. I help them express their thoughts and ideas. I help them connect with others. Totally different world, totally different place. One has a purpose statement, one has a functional statement. You start your engine with a sense of purpose. If you don't have a sense of purpose, you go nowhere. Leadership, employees, vision, culture, customer focus, competencies, rewards, barriers. These are the elements which make up the engine. That is the engine, and we're going to spend a little bit of time having a look at the engine. So there's something which we call the competitive engine, which sits within organisations. It is the heart of an organisation. And I think I have a bigger diagram of this. I do have a bigger diagram of this. So if we look at what we call the heart, the centre, what do you see? Purpose. If your organisation doesn't have a sense of purpose, I think you're weak. You're weak in what you can achieve, you're weak in where you can go to, because purpose gives you an ultimate direction, an ultimate reason for existence, a way to connect with everyone who you deal with. It doesn't matter what business you're in, you can have a purpose. The purpose has got to be something of a higher order. The purpose shouldn't be, I want to turn over $120 million a year. That's not going to engage people with a sense of direction. You then have a number of key elements which come together. The first key element is leadership. I have a purpose, and the core of my business starts with leadership, and it connects with the employees. Now, in today's market, those employees can be employees, they can be contractors, they can be subcontractors, they can be all over the place in a disconnected work environment we now have. But leadership connects with employees. What type of leaders do you want? What type of leaders do you want? Describe. Visionary. Yep. What other words would you describe a leader you want? Sorry? Involved. Articulate. Did you say compassionate? Passionate. Not compassionate. Passionate. Yeah, maybe a little bit of compassion in there occasionally. Yep.
Good listeners.
Good listeners. Do you think you want to admire them? Do you think you want to be someone who you would like to follow? Do you think they would like to be someone who you think is interested in you and your welfare? Are you going to connect and work with someone who you believe doesn't care about you at all? Probably not. So we actually use the language, you want a worthy leader. Worthy. So who do you think a worthy leader is going to put first, himself or the organisation? Who's ever read any of Jim Collins' stuff, John Maxwell's material, all of these which talk about leadership? They all come back to the same point. Those organisations which in actual fact become very successful and become great are typically led by a leader who's not charismatic, but who has put the organisation first and themselves second. In other words, they've allowed the organisation to grow beyond them, and their focus has been on that. The core of any organisation is its employees. The core of any organisation is its employees. I need to take that employee group, I need to mould them into a group which actually is working for my organisation. They love it, they committed to it. Remember the language? My employees are passionate, my owners thrive, my customers love us. Where does that start from? This connection. This connection. It's bonded by the purpose, but it starts with that connection. Do I like you? Do I trust you? Do I think you have my interests at heart? Do I think you'll put me before you? Are you going to provide me with good work conditions? And I think some of these things have spun out a bit and the balance has changed. We have the leadership turning around and saying, I'm sick and tired of doing things for employees all the time. And you're beginning to get this misbalance, and it's got to be brought back a bit where we engage employees in a different way and allow their passion to come in. But if you think of the core, if you get that core right, I now have a committed group of people who love what they're doing and come to work, yes, because they need to earn a living, but that's not the most important thing. They come to work because they love the job, they love the people, they love what we're doing, they love where we're going. But you manufacture widgets, it doesn't matter. I love what we're doing. And leadership uses vision and culture to tie that together. They use vision and culture to tie that together. So what should vision be? If you had to describe a vision, what should it be? Throw some words at me. Did I hear a word? Yeah. Okay, so there's a target. What other words should be applied to it? Inspirational. Other words?
The best.
Sorry?
The best.
The best.
It's a roadmap.
Roadmap. Excuse me. Should it be something which is enticing? If I want to connect my employees to where I'm going to, doesn't the vision have to be something which is I just love that vision. If we can get there, if we can achieve that, that'd just be so incredible. That's what you really want them saying in the heart, don't you? rather than saying, yeah, they're words. No one believes them, no one lives them. I don't know what they mean. It's all about them making profit. So look at the vision for your organisation, and is it articulated in a way which actually entices people? I want to work for that organisation. I want to work for that organisation. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be big. It's just how you express it. And then you say, and the culture I create reinforces that. So you start by looking at the core of your competitive engine. This is where you're at the heart. This is where it's soft. And you're turning around, and what you're basically saying is, do I actually have a purpose? Do I actually know why I exist as an organisation? If it's just about money, then I may be a good business. I may be better. I may get to best, but I'll never be great. Do I actually have a leadership team who put the organisation and the welfare of the employees first, ahead of their own pocket? Are genuine, which means what? Character first, competency second. And there's so many organisations which struggle with that. But if you put character first, what's it say about me? Yep, that's the problem. Character first, competency second. When you're choosing your leaders, you choose them on the basis of character first. You can grow competencies, you can fix those. Can you change character? It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. You are who you are. Leaders, employees, wrapped around a purpose which means something to them, an enticing vision and a culture which supports that, I now have a strong core which can achieve anything I want. You're now in the heart of the organisation. You're now in something which is quite soft. Remember, delivery, pretty easy. Alignment, get it. Engine, bit scary, bit hard. This is my engine. And there's two things which then hang off this. Customer focus and capabilities. That actually gives me my strategy. Where I'm going to and how I'm going there is a function of who's my customers. And when we talk about customer focus, we're not talking about customer service. We're talking about the value we're delivering to them. So if you had to sit down and say, what's the value I deliver to my customers? Can you deliver it? Can you actually articulate that now? Could you write down a sentence, your elevator pitch, which says this is the value we deliver? It really should be tied to your purpose. Ask your management team, what's the value we deliver? And see how many different expressions you get. And then once you've got half a dozen different expressions, what does that tell you about your ability to get focused on that? My ability to achieve that is always going to be a function of my capabilities. So I'm growing my capabilities to deliver more and more on my customer focus. It gives me my strategy. What do my reward do? What does my reward do for me, if I can express it that way? Bad English. My rewards is what draws me forward. Remember, rewards is not just about money. It's about the opportunity to actually do what I want to do. It's actually enjoying my job. It's enjoying where I am. It's enjoying where I go. It's enjoying what we achieve. And being, yes, remunerated at an adequate level. But again, that comes in many shapes and sizes. But how do we stop that from happening? Bureaucracy, pride, self-interest, processes, lack of focus. This is in part misalignment, but also it's bad leadership. So as you begin to think about your ability of your organisation to achieve all the things you want to achieve, you need to sit back and say, do I have a purpose? Who are my leaders? Do they connect with the employees? Do you actually regard the employees with respect? Do I have a vision which is enticing? Do I actually express a culture which binds all this together? Do I actually have a good sense of value for my customers? Am I building the competencies to do it? Is my strategy aligned? Do I have very clear rewards? And am I continuously removing the barriers which stop people from achieving those? I'm at the heart now of organisational performance. If I get this right, everything else happens. Why? Because if I get this right, I get the passion. I get the energy. I get the conviction. I get people turning around and saying, this is what I'm about. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go to. This is a fantastic organisation. I will die for it. So how many of you work in an organisation which is like that? Well done. Stop being delusional. So this is bad aspiration. And I find organisations will drift in and out of this as they get it and don't get it, because we're all human. And therefore, organisational performance is about doing the things we can do well. I can create a delivery DNA. I can do that. I can do that. I can come back inside and I can begin to look at alignment, and I can continually make sure I'm not causing problems for myself by the way we do things in terms of alignment. And if I do those, you will find this will be nurtured and this will grow. And what you don't do is you don't give yourself a virus or poison. How can you do that? What will kill an organisation faster than anything else? Bad leadership, the wrong leadership. Leadership which should not have been allowed to get there in the first place. So, if we just freeze frame there to some extent and just take one step forward. Defeat lies in our hands. What does that mean? Isn't it success lies in our hands? What's this defeat lies in our hands? What's that mean? How can someone beat me? I have some goals, I have some ambitions, I have a target, I'm seeking to achieve something. I have a competitor who's trying to outchase me, outperform me. How can they win? Because I let them. I let them. If we're chasing for a goal, if I allow my competitor to get ahead of me, if I allow myself to be weakened, if I don't focus on what I need to focus on, if I don't create the right delivery mechanism, if I don't create the right alignment, if I don't think about the heart of organisational performance and focus on these things, I'm allowing myself to become weak. So in a military and a strategic context, defeat's in my hands. The ability of me to defeat a competitor is not about me, it's about them. If they weaken themselves, I'll get ahead of them. So you think about this expression, say organisational performance, my ability to achieve what I want to achieve lies in one thing, me, and my ability to grow and my commitment and my focus on growing the organisation. It's about me and what I actually want to achieve and deliver. My organisation can go as far as I want to take it. Defeat lies in my hands. We train to be great. So if again you take that expression and you say, we train to be great, the question is, so what am I going to do to shift the way my organisation works? Whether it's a one-man show, a 10,000-man show, excuse me ladies, man means man and woman in that context. So how am I going to actually do that? I can start at the outside and simply say, well, maybe it would be really good if we got some things done. I start at the outside and say it would be good if we actually got some things done. We all have projects we're seeking to achieve. Let's take a step away and say, let's create a way of delivering projects. Let's create a way of doing things. Let's make it our way. Let's get some thought into this and let's begin to pilot it. Let's begin to trial it. Let's begin to make it part of our DNA. That's happening. Now let me just do my alignment exercise and see how clear we are on how all these things line up. Okay? I'm fixing those. There's some things which are not clear, some processes need to be fixed. I'm doing that. Let me now go to the heart. Do I have a purpose? What's my vision do? Let me think about the culture and how would I express that culture. Let me now begin to think about the leaders I have. And let me look at them, not in terms of delivering targets, but let me look at them in terms of who they are as people. Great people attract what? Great people. Great leaders will attract people who want to follow them or who want to work for them. Do I have the right leaders in my organisation? Remember, my arm only reaches so far, then I need a good person there to continue my work. Do I have the right leaders in my organisation? And you approach organisational performance from the outside and you begin to peel the onion back, but you go into the heart and you begin to see what's happening in the heart and how do I begin to fix that. I find as you work on the outside, the heart gets fixed, but you need to sometimes go in there and do some heart surgery, for want of a better term, to fix that up. Make sense? Organisational performance is not easy. That's why the language of, are you aiming to be great, is a good language. It sets you a target, it sets you an aspiration, allows you to go forward. You then have to work up a program of the things you want to do. So if you take nothing else away today, take away a language which you want to begin to seed into your organisation and adopt, and begin to think about how we deliver things. On that note, we may pause.